how do you waste time though? I feel like you're always working. You have this incredible art practice, one of the most important galleries in New York City.
Just taking a walk and you get an idea.
Right.
You know, an idea can come from anywhere, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like important to keep an open mind at all times.
Well, there's almost this old-fashioned word, creativity.
Dude, yeah, you don't need anything for it.
Right.
It's free.
So should I do this?
Yeah, spin in, come on. Let's make it fucking dynamic, dude, come on.
My name is Lloyd Wise, and I am executive editor at Artforum. Today I'm very pleased to be at Gagosian Gallery with Jamian Juliano-Villani. Jamian's painting, Crunchie Boy, My Son, graces the cover of Artforum's April issue.
So that's my dog, Tim. So
that's your dog, Tim.
He's a mini Australian Shepard, incredibly intelligent, and...
Is he a good boy?
He's so good.
Yeah.
But the problem is, he's a nightmare in the studio.
He's a nightmare in the studio.
So that's what the painting is kind of based off of. It's like the inner workings of his brain.
Right. Right.
And he's actually the one in charge, not really me. He dictates my life.
One of my favorite paintings here is the SpaghettiOs painting.
They are fucking great. So when I was making this painting, I literally blew through a 24 pack of SpaghettiOs because it was just easy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I'm really busy. And it just works.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, this shit is delicious. So I went on the website because I knew that there was some rebrand, some niche thing that they did, and I was like, that's fucking beautiful. And then that was it, you know, super straightforward.
Yeah, especially with the Frank's Red Hot sauce.
I know.
It's really like 3 logos packed into one small product. That seems new, right?
Yeah.
Multiple logos in a single product.
It's how you market something.
Yeah. Synergy.
Yeah, they also like, how can you add something new to it without totally overdoing it?
Yeah.
Something simple, you know?
There might be another example of synergy right here.
This painting's really important.
Because Alex is really important to you. You wrote something beautiful about Alex Katz for
You asked me to do that.
Artforum. Yeah.
You know, I think that he's my favorite painter, and it's not that I love all of his paintings.
Sure.
But the way that he works, it's like so intuitive. It's like swimming or fucking or breathing. And that's how, you know, a natural does it. So he's like a natural motherfucking painter, you know? Like he kind of created the idea of like an iconic painting image in my brain, for me, you know, in an American way. But it really was so simple as actually looking at an art form from 1981, because I look at these all the time for references and shows and ideas and whatever, it's just important to me. And there was 2 ads on top of each other. And I just said, you know what, these would look great together.
Oh wow! So this is 2 Artforum ads that are
on the same page,
coming together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
But it's crazy because the beautiful thing about those ads and looking at them in their simplicity, right, is because it is from '81. There is a nuance to the black. It's not pure black anymore. It's like there's a noise quality to it. That was the part that really caught my eye, not the text. You know, so I wanted this to function like a fontana or something. It's like a formal object. And, you know, there is a mediation of me in between this. Is the only thing that I changed, which is the inside of the E and inside of the A.
But so there's another question, like a set of questions about this show that I think is so interesting, which is that you outsourced the painting of all of the paintings to China.
Yes.
Which is such an interesting choice, I think, and of course has this amazing history in the history of art, like beginning with Mahaly Naj's telephone paintings, where he called up a ceramics factory in Germany and said, you know, here are my instructions for a painting, and the 3 were produced, the telephone pictures, to Donald Judd and Jeff Koons and Boetti, et cetera, et cetera. But in your case, what motivated that decision? Why did you choose to do this? And it's the first time you've outsourced in this way?
Second time.
Second time, okay.
First time was my show at the Ranch with Mike Kelly.
Okay.
Because honestly, I was like, you know what? Why the fuck not? And I also think that, you know, as an artist who's working in a commercial gallery, there is a supply and demand system that sometimes your brain or your body, you have to innovate to make it happen. And whatever I can do to make it happen, I will.
Did you use the same factory both times?
One person, that's it.
Oh, so just one person.
One guy I talked to.
Oh, really? That's really
His name is
interesting.
Henry.
Okay.
And that's kind of the importance of that painting as well, the Kissinger painting, because it's kind of dedicated to Henry, my boss.
Were there any surprises when you got the paintings back?
There always is. It's gambling.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, it's actually more difficult, I think, to make these paintings than to actually paint them, because you have no control. So it's kind of like the translation and the nuance is always like, either it works or it doesn't, you know?
I mean, are there elements of it that you almost deliberately leave open for his own interpretation?
Not really. Not with this show. It's very focused.
Yeah.
You know? And like, there are nuances. There's like very specific things that change the paintings. Like, so if you look at this wall, and all of this work was made specifically for this show in Gagosian, right? So like, this is like the most natural, beautiful wall, and you can imagine like, iconic Bryce Martins in here or whatever, right?
Sure.
And it does kind of have some like church-like quality.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like
the light flooding in from above.
yeah, I never fucked with lighting this beautiful, like when? So I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to show what this style of painting can do, So you have the plasticity surface of this SpaghettiOs painting, you have the objecthood and the nuance of this painting, and then this painting, right, is painted on like almost like a burlap jute surface, which gives it more of a timelessness, like a timeless quality. You know what I mean? So you could do so much different kinds of thinking and working this way that like I just needed to. It's like total fucking freedom.
And with these amazing mannequin paintings, are these found images, or did you stage these dioramas? No, they're found.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's an incredible book. I found this when I was like really like, because I have a gallery as well, and I have to do both at the same time. So basically when I'm there, I'm kind of trapped at the desk. So I'm constantly thinking of paintings while I'm there. So I need to preoccupy myself, And in the gallery, the facade of the building is a giant glass window. So I'm constantly on display. So that's another mediation of the show, or something I was thinking about, is private versus public persona. Me privately and me publicly. This is my public persona. My private persona is completely different. And that's just for me. That's not for anyone else. But that's there. So this is kind of like the area that I'm stuck in, So it is like a reflection of self. So these are actually display windows from 1971 Bloomingdale's windows. So there is this like uncanny thing and a plasticity to it, where there always is kind of like you're watching yourself from the outside. And that's kind of another really important element of getting these paintings outsourced in China. Because the only way I can actually see my work is if I step outside of it. Because honestly, anytime you make a painting, you're so fucking involved in the production of it that you get lost in it. You can't see the big picture. You're caught up in the fucking details. And for me, with my paintings, I've never been a fetishist about materials. For me, I feel like that's so insular, and that's not, I know other artists work like that, and that's cool. But that's not my thing. I'm always about the image, because that's democratic.
I just love, this relationship between, this decision to outsource and how that's a liberating, a freeing act. I think that's really compelling.
And I think it's also interesting too, because like with my work, there's such a range. Every painting I do is completely different the whole time, my whole fucking career. Every painting, I don't have a style. I do not want to have a style. The whole point is to never have a style, so I have flexibility.
It's so interesting when you talk about your fear of resting on any particular style, because I think that's really powerfully expressed in this show.
But maybe now I feel like for this show, I wanted to have something for everyone, but also be myself at the same time without, doing some kind of, it's easy to make a painting that looks really good. That's easy, that's not the point though. But there are so many elements in this show that I really am excited about that I haven't done before. So now I could see it and I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And it just opened up this whole world to me.
This is what I was going to ask you next. I mean, you have spoken really beautifully about a desire for there to be this democratic access to your work. I'm wondering if you could speak a little more about that.
Well, I mean, I think that, it's funny, when I first started making paintings and when I was learning how to paint, which is crazy, I was looking at a lot of like, cartoons and comic books because I felt like they were so legible. Even when you're watching TV, it's a fucking cartoon. You could see the black outline on it. Yeah. It's so obvious. And I felt like that was the easiest way to communicate ideas without speaking about art. And that's where I started, And I think that there is a certain way that people speak about art that is alienating to people who don't know anything about art. And that's also a reason why I started the gallery, to make it easy for people to not feel intimidated and actually get into it. I'm just a fucking fan of art. That's my life. And I think what we have to remember is like, we're artists and like we could do whatever the fuck we want, because it's really important that we maintain that.